Hello, hello, hello. I'm Double P, Prentice Premier. I'm the host of Premier Sports Talk. It was just put on my spirit to do an impromptu drop a live airing here. And I'm going to just allow myself to be used. I've been gathering some content on the latest shenanigans that's been going on up in Cleveland, reference Shedeur Sanders. I've been recording interviews, recording YouTube radio broadcasts, people's thoughts, and I just want to share them with you. But at the same time, I want to drop a spiritual nugget. So I'm going to just allow myself to be led in whichever way that I will be led. And I just want to share some things with you all. Because no matter how or what we're going through, somebody always got it off worse than us. Like I said, I'm just going to allow myself to be led and just share what's going on.
Time we've seen Shedeur Sanders on the NFL field this year.
Will he start at some point this season?
No, I don't, unless guys go through injuries. We talked about this. I don't think that's going to happen.
Something's missing. Something's missing with this kid. This kid talks. He runs his mouth like I could be a starting quarterback with his arms crossed like this. Get your ass in the front row and study and do all that.
For months, experts spoke with confidence. Top analysts insisted that Shedeur Sanders would not start in the NFL. They measured him with their feelings instead of the facts. They analyzed him through bias instead of the film. They built narratives that were never rooted in truth.
Just
but
listen.
There comes a moment when human opinion collides with divine intervention. There comes a moment when God rewrites the story that people try to finalize. What the professionals predicted does not outweigh what God planned. What analysts say don't override calling, and what critics feel don't cancel purpose. The fact is, Shedeur Sanders earned the role that they say he would never touch. He walked into positions experts claim he could not handle, and he stepped into the moment they believe belonged to someone else. Not because of hype, not because of favoritism, but because God has a way of elevating those that the world counts out. See, feelings tell you he is sick, but facts tell you he'll start. Feelings say he was not ready, but facts said keep proving him wrong. See, feelings said he may not never start, but God said I'm just getting started. So let me leave you with this: choose facts over feelings.
Now that was Shedeur Sanders was interviewed last week, and one of the reporters asked, how does he feel about his performance, and is he fearful because of his performance? Was he concerned about remaining the starting quarterback, even though the coach Kevin Stefanski, whether if it was his decision, which we all feel and agree that it wasn't his decision to remain Shedeur Sanders the starter for the rest of the year. But the reporter asked him, was he worried about his performance in the Bears game, that he would no longer be the starting quarterback for the remainder of the year. And Shedeur Sanders has been groomed and raised in media since he was a young lad. I believe he's only 23 years old now. But his response to the reporter is that, do you know about this league? Do you know what this league stands for? Basically, NFL not for long. And he said he doesn't worry about what he can't control. He doesn't worry about it. So, the chaos, the insanity that is going on up there in the Cleveland media with that team, from the outside looking in, and all of us that support the Sanders and the Sanders family, or whether you don't support the Sanders family, we're in the journey with Shedeur Sanders and the Sanders family. It's like they say misery wants company, but it is crazy how they attack. They haven't had a franchise NFL starting quarterback since Bernie Kosar. They ran Baker Mayfield out of there, and they they want to say they see flashes in Shedeur, and it's only his 4th week starting, but yet they want to say they don't know if they want to continue forward with him. How can you not see? How can we not see? It's like whenever you go to a sporting event and you see a person balling out there, whether it be on a basketball field, football field, baseball game, we know a dog when we see one. When somebody get out there on the track field and they fly around that track or do that 100-yard dash, our eyes can't deceive us. But yet, the media up there is just so crazy. The narrative is changing now because there are some that see what they see. And like I said, I don't have any specific agenda on how I'm going to proceed forward in this airing. I just want to drop where my spirit's being led. I just want to drop where my spirit's being led.
The foolish things to confound the wise. No symptoms.
No
Help me.
symptoms.
Going in there and look at something else, you find something else. I'm on assignment and I'm in alignment with where I'm supposed to be. I'm not lost. I'm not here by mistake. Because for me to go through this, the devil had to ask God, have you considered my servant prayer? Go ahead, try it. I know he gonna praise me. I know he gonna magnify me. I know he gonna glorify me. And that's what it's transpired. I never once through this whole journey said, God, why me? I said, Lord, whatever it is that you're doing, let me know what it is so I can expedite the process. Because I know you got me. I've seen you have my back. I've seen you there in the midst of storms, but nobody knew I was going through hell. I've seen you guide me, bring me through. Lord, I would never say why me. And there's some people out there right now dealing with the same issue. Don't say why me. By that C word. When we hear that word, there's normally a life sentence attached to it, but not this time.
Why not us?
Because God got me. There's a scripture that says,
There's so many recordings I got on my cell phone where I'm being led to record them and save them. And I was just led to sharing them with you all, whether it be a spiritual nugget, whether it be somebody's interview, whether it be something negative that's been spoken against Shedeur Sanders. I have no idea. You know what? I do have an idea, and it just hit my mindset. But I'm going to first say the thought. I have no idea why this world has come down on this young man, Shedeur Sanders. He's done nothing wrong to no one. If anything, he's been a light to wherever he's been at. He's been a light to the next generation that's being raised up. He's been a light. He's been a beacon of hope to the next generation that is being raised up. I've always been one to believe that a child can see the spirit of a person. And sometime when you see people trying to reach out and give a young person a hug or shake their hand, the child may rear back, or a child just may run up to a person and give them the biggest hug in the world because that innocent child can see the spirit of a person. Wow, I just got fed with that. So all we've seen out of they call Shedeur Sanders, they call him grown, they call him the franchise. They even call him chosen within his family. And all we've seen since, whether if it was back at Colorado, he's been given to the community and to the high schools there, doing things on his own free will and accord. Just want to inspire other people that be a beacon of hope in whatever you can dream of that you can achieve. He came to the we all know, we should have heard the story how people want to say how all 32 teams in the NFL passed on Shedeur Sanders, but yeah, he dropped down to the 5th round, but it's not true that all 32 teams passed on him. It's already been documented that the Baltimore Ravens wanted Shedeur Sanders. But him and his father got on the phone and they talked to the Baltimore Ravens management, and he turned down the Baltimore Ravens. Now, we could all say to ourselves, and even I had the thought, keeping it real, that is he crazy turning down the Baltimore Ravens? But yet the narrative was out there, all 32 teams passed on him and nobody wanted him. But Shedeur Sanders thought highly of himself, and he was already spoken to within his spirit that he wanted to go somewhere where he would have the opportunity to play. You see, millionaires don't think like those that aren't well off or have a poverty mindset. There is even Deion Sanders Jr., aka Bucky, aka Osakian, when he's rapping. He even dropped a feed earlier this year when he said that the Sanders family don't think like we do. We don't think in a manner of those that aren't able to have. They think in a manner that they got a prosperity mindset. They're going to push forward. So that's why, in my opinion, Shedeur Sanders turned down going to the Baltimore Ravens and not having to want to sit behind Lamar Jackson, even though Lamar Jackson got hurt this year on a hamstring and sat out 3 games, but that would only give Shedeur Sanders to play in a backup capacity and then have to sit back out. And then there's also another team that wanted Shedeur Sanders, and he turned them down too. So that kills the narrative that it was the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me tell y'all that. It was the Philadelphia Eagles. But then again, he would have had to sit behind Jalen Hurts. And Shedeur Sanders won an opportunity to have a legitimate, at least what he thought was going to have a legitimate opportunity to be QB1. We got to be careful what we ask for. But see, the Most High don't ever give us anything in our life that we aren't prepared to have. The Most High don't give us any blessings in our life that we can't handle. There's so many times I know you and me, we probably prayed to the Most High, and I'm talking about God, time and time again asking for things that we ain't ready to receive. We may pray for a Mercedes-Benz or Audi or whatever your favorite car may be, but we can't even afford the car insurance or the maintenance. We may be living in a 1-room apartment and praying for a mansion, but we can't even afford to pay the utility bills. Ain't that saying something? And when Shedeur Sanders went to the Cleveland Browns, I'm going to drop this thought on you. And we all heard it before in our lives. The first will be last, and the last will be first. I believe in all my heart and soul that, and we even heard it out of Shedeur Sanders' mouth, it's okay that he's last on the depth chart because he said, I got time to cook. Y'all hear me? It came out of his own mouth that he got time to cook. He said there are things he still need to learn. So he knew the deficiencies that he had within himself that he didn't already have to be successful out there on that field. So he got to see Joe Flacco. He got to see Kenny Pickett, even though he got hurt with a hamstring. He got to train with him to a certain degree in training camp. He got to see all the mistakes, all the ups and downs, all the good things and the bad things that other was making. And he got to sit back and watch and learn. Take those ingredients and use them so he can cook. The Most High don't give us nothing that we ain't prepared to use for his will and his purpose, y'all. He doesn't give us anything. Where am I being led now to? Where am I being led? It's so crazy how the narrative was, he ain't ready. He don't know how to read the defenses. He don't know how to call an audible. It was just crazy and hilarious. But when somebody keeps spitting out negative narrative, sooner or later, human nature, we tend to believe it. We are innocent until proven guilty. Things are just, whatever's coming to my head, I'm speaking them out loud here, y'all. I'm speaking them out loud. But it's crazy how the narrative will be one way, and then they turn it around to be positive. But the media, this is 92.3 The Fan, Ken Karma, up there in Cleveland. I tap into on YouTube. They're on from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. But I just want y'all to hear this insanity that's going on up there. This was just this morning, y'all.
Exactly. I mean, the fact that Shedeur Sanders took the field with the wrong wristband, I really don't care what the circumstances are. I don't care who's to blame. It's something that just should not happen. It's the Brownsiest thing ever. This is what this franchise has been. This is what, unfortunately, it continues to be. And they don't know how to build a team from ownership on down. God love the Haslams. They spend a ton of money. They want to win more than anybody. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to hire the right people. And then when the people come in here, they don't know how to build a team. And you're seeing the byproducts of that. And the shame of it is that this is not a team this year that's devoid of talent. There is talent on both sides of the ball. Obviously, more talent on the defensive side. The offensive line has been decimated. You got practice squad guys now having to play significant roles up front. But that organization does not know how to win. They do not know how to build a team. They don't, they talk the big game, but they never produce it for their fans.
Not only does the organization has a losing mindset, culture, and mentality, they've been basking in I'm going to use the word poverty mindset for so long. They're not able to see themselves out of it. And it became infectious not only to the organization, but to the Cleveland Browns and following Shedeur Sanders. I respect the fandom up there because they've been dealing with this bad mindset organization culture for a long time. A long time.
That, but of course, it's hard for the courts of everything else that's happened because remember, let's go back to the Wyatt Teller thing. Well, he said it was performance. Well, then they said it was injury. Well, the injury happened to happen at the end of the game in the fourth quarter, towards the end of the game with Wyatt Teller. But there was that big whole thing. So we don't even know our stories anymore. So if you're just covering for things, then just everybody's got to go. That's it. That's it. I'm looking at it and I'm going, well, we have an excuse for everything here. That's all we are. Full of excuses for this team. I'm here other than Trone on the Thursday press conferences. Is it Thursday? I don't give a damn what day it is anymore. anymore. It doesn't even sound the same. And it didn't sound the same. Well, you know, we only have in the back half of the roster. You got these last 21 guys. I don't know. Tennessee had the back half of the roster. They're the ones that were able to block your play. And we all thought that they were worse than you. Oh, but how good are the Jets? How good are the Jets? What happened in the Jets game? One of the other worst teams in the NFL. What happened on special teams there? It's nothing but excuses, one after another. And I'm watching, I'm going, how's he supposed to do anything with his offensive line? Because you got Zach Zinter, who was a third-round pick that's not going to play for you. Jack Conklin ain't walking back on the field. That's it. I got Joel Bitonio. I feel bad for Joel. I feel bad for him. I shouldn't, because he's going to make a bunch of money, and he's a really, really, really good player and a good guy. And I'm sure he doesn't feel bad for himself. But I'm watching him on the one interception. He looked like Kevin Bacon trying to tell everybody to calm down as he's trying to make.
What do y'all think, y'all? This is a radio station, y'all. Radio station. 92.3 The Fan. If y'all want to hear that soap opera, just go on YouTube, 92.3 The Fan. Anthony Lama, big time spewing negative narrative against the Sanders family that goes all the way back in the early 2000s. So you got Anthony Lyman, who's not negative narrative on the Sanders family, and Ken Carmer, who you just heard crashing out. Big time Shedeur Sanders supporter. You know, there's all kind of narrative going on up there in Cleveland. All kind of narrative. What do y'all think? Do y'all want Shedeur Sanders the hell out of Cleveland? Or do you think Kevin Stefanski will be let go right after the last game of the season? Do you think maybe there's a slim possibility that Kevin Stefanski can coexist with Shedeur Sanders? Do you think Shedeur Sanders can stay Kevin Stefanski's job? There's all kind of questions. Drop your comments in there. Do you want Stefanski gone? Do you want Andrew Berry, the general manager, gone? You know, if you've been following any of the social media feeds, we've seen that after the games, the GM Andrew Berry has been giving Shedeur Sanders support, you know, which we haven't seen publicly displayed from the coach. But however, you know, I'm not going to spew any negative comments on negative narrative towards Kevin Stefanski, but we are hearing that maybe it's a public narrative to try to save Stefanski's job, that how he's been working with Shedeur behind the scenes before and after practice. I know I've even witnessed Shedeur saying it out of his mouth that he gets in there early and he goes over plays with Stefanski. So, you know, only those two know the truth. Only those two know the truth. But drop y'all opinions in there. Let me know what y'all think. Do you think Kevin Stefanski and Shedeur Sanders can coexist? But would you rather see him with a whole new coach? Would that be the best thing for him? What do y'all think? You know, even Tony Grossi's, who was anti-Shedeur Sanders, has turned around and been in Shedeur Sanders' favor. He has.
I don't have the right wristband. I started a football game. I don't have the right wristband.
Oh, that's the wrong one there. I'm trying to get to Tony Grossi, y'all. Forgive me. I was trying to find Tony Grossi. But let's listen to Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd, big-time national media. You know, when Shedeur got those speeding tickets in training camp, oh, I'm off Shedeur. I'm off Shedeur. I'm through with him. I'm done with him. But now Shedeur Sanders has been showing that he is capable of being an NFL quarterback. My, how the narrative has changed.
Last night, we were talking about Shedeur Sanders, and he's a fan of Shedeur Sanders, and I said, you know, I could never understand how I missed that badly on a quarterback. I said I thought he was like a mid to late first round guy, maybe top of the second, and he dropped to the fifth round. But I was thinking about this. He's looked pretty good. I mean, Greg Cosell this week came on and said, yeah, it's early, but those are big time throws. So let's just say Shedeur Sanders does become a franchise quarterback and threw 3 starts with the weakest receiving room in the NFL, 32nd. Worst receiving room in the NFL, PFF, 32nd. Third worst offensive line, PFF. He's got nothing to work with. 5 touchdowns, 2 picks, 94 passer rate. Should also be noted that Shedeur Sanders did not get any work with the ones before he started. Right? It was Dylan Gabriel getting all of it because Dylan Gabriel was a rookie. So he's got the third worst O-line in the league, the worst wide receiving room in the league, did not work with number ones. And yet 8 of the top 12 teams drafting currently in the NFL, the top of the draft board, are desperate for a quarterback.
All of them.
And people thought Shedeur, NFL GM said, hey, he's a little immature. I agree. He's not serious enough for my taste. So I think the NFL wanted to send sort of a message.
Collusion.
Straighten up, young man. I'll say it again. 5th round. Every team in this league passed on him at least 4 times. Do you realize with the worst receiving core in the league and the third worst offensive line, since becoming a starter, Shedeur is the best rookie quarterback in the league. Total yards, total touchdowns, big plays, passing yards and attempts. He's the best rookie quarterback.
Number 1.
Since he got the start. Again, not much around it. So some of these NFL teams, I think, said, we're just going to send a message. He thinks he's a celebrity. I kept saying he's the most accurate college quarterback in the sports history. He moves pretty well. He's a big play guy. And I don't know if he's going to be a franchise quarterback. I don't know. But I know what I'm watching, and I know what he has to work with. Now, I like Stefanski a lot. But it is interesting. Anytime, go look at the draft order right now. 8 of the 12 teams at the top could use a quarterback. And everybody passed on it. And it's
I'm going to leave it right there because he gets pretty long with it. That's Colin Coward. On again, off again supporter of Shedeur Sanders. When he had to be before the draft, he was all about Shedeur Sanders. During training camp, when Shedeur got those 2 speeding tickets, I'm off of them. But now that he's seeing with his own eyes, even though Shedeur Sanders got, like he said, he was speaking some truth, getting no reps, being the 4th on the depth chart, how since Shedeur started, since the Raiders game, he is the number 1 in all ratings as far as rookie quarterbacks. But he also was bringing out the point that there are some key teams that need a quarterback desperately. First team that comes to mind is the Indianapolis Colts. Daniel Jones tore his Achilles. Not this past Sunday, but the week before, 2 weeks ago in the game. He's out. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he already had his surgery. Anthony Richardson, who they benched, he's out. Got some kind of injury with his eye. Already know that Mr. Ursay, who passed away, he left his team to his daughters. She wants Shedeur Sanders bad, but the rumor is, and the talk behind the curtains is that the Browns was trying to get too high of a draft pick before the trade deadline, so that's why that trade didn't take place. Who else needs a quarterback? The Los Angeles Raiders. Geno Smith, hurt, playing terribly. Kenny Pickett came in Sunday, played like trash. I wonder how Tom Brady's feeling now that he didn't take Shedeur Sanders. So if for whatever reason Cleveland doesn't choose to go forward with Mr. Shedeur Sanders, he's going to play plenty enough games where I know there's going to be teams that's going to get him. And, maybe that's the best thing for him. Only time will tell. Only time's going to tell. Time's going to tell, reveal the Most High's plan for Mr. Sanders. But this was an impromptu. I had so many interviews and that I've been collecting, and I didn't want to have too many to go through. So first the narrative was negative, and now I want to give you Mary Kay Cabot. Oh, Mary Kay. She works directly for Cleveland Browns beat reporter. And let's listen to the positive things that she's going to say about Shedeur Sanders. This was just an interview a couple hours ago.
As she joins us from the very cold Chicago. Hello, Mary Kay.
Well, it was after the Chicago game.
Well, we're good. We're indoors. You're in the press box, I hope, at this point. So I hope you're at least, they got to get you like hot chocolate or something on the ready, right?
Oh, my goodness. I can't imagine what it must be like to try to play in this or sit outside.
Just hold tight. I want you to hear what she's about to say about Shedeur Sanders.
It is just so bitter cold. One of the coldest games I've ever covered.
All right, Mary Kay, right off the top here, have you seen enough in Shedeur Sanders that you think he can be the guy here in Cleveland?
You know, I'm starting to think that perhaps he can be there. I feel like he's trending that way. I think he's shown enough traits now that there's something to this young man, and there is something worth building on here. And I think he's done some remarkable things already in these first 3 starts of his, despite the fact that he did not even start practicing with the starters until before his very first start against Las Vegas Raiders 4 weeks ago. So I think there's something here, and I think that the Browns are probably going to conclude when they get to the end of this 4-game stretch, the final 7 starts for Shedeur Sanders. I just have a feeling that they're going to analyze the whole thing and decide they want to move forward with him. I can't.
So I'm not going to go into that whole spiel right there, but I just need you the history of Miss Mary Kay Cabot if y'all don't know. If you don't know, you're about to know. She is the biggest flip-flopper when it comes to Shedeur. There's 2 of them, Mary Kay Cabot and Tony Grocery. They have both flopped on the positive side. She is the one that was saying Dylan Gabriel was a supercomputer, that Dylan Gabriel was more experienced, and how Dylan Gabriel was a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. But she works directly for us. She's a beat reporter for the Cleveland Browns. So she spits out the narrative for the Cleveland Browns. She puts out what their public affairs for the Cleveland Browns wants us fans to hear. So she's echoing the message that the Browns want to be put out. So now we're hearing that she's saying it's she, but she speaks on half of the Browns, that they think they're seeing enough, to move forward with Shedeur. Time will tell, we shall see. So, hey, I'm hoping that you all dropped your comments in here while I've been running my mouth. Good, bad, or indifferent. If you could hit that thumbs up, if you've been in here with me on the latest and the greatest news on what's going on up there in Cleveland, and is if Shedeur Sanders is the chosen one going forward for the Browns, you can help this feed get pushed out in the YouTube algorithm. The more people that hit that thumbs up, the more people that puts comments in the feed, good, bad, or indifferent, no matter when you watch it. Let me know what city you're from. Let me know where you're watching from. The Browns may not even be your number 1 team. I'll tell you for a reason. I was homegrown Pittsburgh Steelers raised, black and yellow. I bleed black and yellow. But since I've been following Shedeur Sanders and I started my YouTube channel July 4th of 2025 this year, I've been engrossed in the Cleveland Browns media up there and just trying to follow Shedeur Sanders' journey. We can have our favorite teams, but have our favorite players. You know, I got a Shedeur Sanders jersey, that's pinned to the wall, and I got a Shedeur Sanders t-shirt that I rock whenever the Cleveland Browns play. So I just wish the best for him and the entire Cleveland Browns team. I want to see Myles Garrett break the NFL all-time sack record. I want him to stay healthy. The Cleveland Browns are tore up from the floor up, have so many injuries. Myles Garrett even tweaked himself and got hurt in that game against the Bears, but he fought through it. Hopefully he stays healthy the rest of the year. I don't want to see no other NFL players get hurt. There's been a plethora of ACL injuries. But hey, I'm Double P, Princess Premier, host of Premier Sports Talk. I'm about to shut this live airing down. I want to thank each and every one of you that become a part of the Premier family. Reserve your seat at Premier Sports Talk and supporting the channel. Let me know who your favorite NFL team is. We got 4 more weeks left here for the regular NFL season till the playoffs start. I'll drop the more if y'all give me the information, I'll drop content on your team. I have no problem doing that. I stay in Georgia, so the Atlanta Falcons, even though they're doing bad, I try to push content on from there. The Dallas Cowboys just got knocked out of the playoffs. Every now and then I drop the Cowboys content on there. Big time content I drop, anything Shedeur Sanders related. Anytime the college season is over for the Colorado Buffaloes, I've been dropping content on there. And, of course, my Pittsburgh Steelers, hopefully we ride this winning streak out. It's going to be hard to win. We won last night on Monday Night Football. It'll be hard to beat the Detroit Lions, but after that we got to play Cleveland. I believe it's December 21st up there in Cleveland. So I'll be supporting Shedeur, but I need my Steelers to win. When the Steelers played them with Dylan Gabriel, they destroyed the Cleveland Browns and Dylan Gabriel. Boy, Armageddon. I think Dylan Gabriel got 6 to 7 times in that game. Armageddon's coming for Shedeur too, but Shedeur wanted to prove a point to my Steelers because they passed on him also. They even brought him in to get interviewed in Pittsburgh, and then they still passed on him. So I know he's going into that game having something to prove against my Steelers. So we'll see what happens. So again, I want to see Myles Garrett break the all-time sack record. He needs 1 more sack to tie, 2 to break it. Hopefully he gets against the Buffalo Bills. If not, he may get it against Aaron Rodgers at home. We'll see how that goes. But again, thank you all who support the channel. We're on the path to 4,000 subscribers. The last time I checked, we're at 3,700 something. We'll see how things flow. Thank you all for blessing the channel and being a blessing. Again, I'm Double P, Princess Premier, host of Premier Sports Talk. May y'all have a blessed day and receive blessings twofold, not only to you, but your extended family. Y'all take care. See you when I see you.